Reverend.
Hello, everyone. The theme here.
Yes, you.
Hello, everyone. Graymouse 1 here.
Yeah, and we are here at my house. It's kind of late, so we're gonna go ahead and do this really quick. This is our first video together here. What we're gonna do is we're actually just off the top of our head talking about the movie Creed, which we just saw on Friday. And if you haven't seen the previews yet or the trailers yet, it is a spin-off of the Rocky series where they follow Adonis Creed, Apollo Creed's son, spoiler alert, his illegitimate son, into his foray into the ring. What did you guys think about it?
Went into the movie with zero expectations, first of all. And I was just thinking that it was just going to be a spin-off, and then that would have been pretty much it. But this movie delivered.
Yeah.
It delivered on all fronts. Opening doors, closing some, getting the crowd, not the crowd, the movie theater was emotionally involved. The story is that good.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, I don't think anybody had any weird conceptions of what type of movie it would be. I mean, it's another Rocky movie. The lovable underdog goes in and takes on a challenge, win, lose, or draw, and he actually comes out a bigger, better person because of it. You know, yeah, I think so far I'm not going on a limb saying that it's probably my favorite movie this year.
One thing that I did like about the movie is that everyone had character. Everyone, even if you really didn't know the characters, there was character growth. There was explanation.
Yeah.
There was actual interaction, and every character you can actually understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And you can actually have a connection to them.
Yeah.
Well, and like you were saying, there's a lot of closure on some chapters and doors opening on others, possibilities.
About the only thing that I was kind of expecting the movie would have, but never gotten around to. I'm expecting they'll probably touch on this, like maybe another Creed movie in the future.
Hopefully there is one.
Well, I'm
pretty sure there will be.
I'm pretty sure there will be. I mean, the movie is scoring like I think it's sitting at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, critically being acclaimed very well. It's very well received. I'm pretty sure that when we check the numbers come Monday morning, it's going to be the #1 movie in the box office this weekend. But one of the things that I was kind of expecting, but since it didn't happen, it'll probably happen in the next movie, is that there's going to be a scene where they have Rocky like breaking down, crying, apologizing to Apollo's wife. Okay, about what happened. Because the thing is the only thing that he touched on that was,
Well, spoiler alert, it wasn't Apollo's wife. This was...
Well, no, this was Apollo's wife. All right.
Did they eventually? Because it was...
What happened was that, okay, into the spoilers.
Yes.
All right. According to the story, Adonis Creed is Apollo Creed's illegitimate son. Basically, he's the offspring of a mistress that he had around the time that Rocky IV was going on. He died before Adonis was born. Well, what happened with Adonis, since he basically kind of grew up, he was coming through the system, something happened to his mom, his biological mom. I can't remember what happened. And then he ended up bouncing around from foster home to foster home. When we first actually meet him, he's a kid and he's in juvenile hall. And Felicia Rashad, who's now playing Apollo's actual wife, goes ahead and meets up with him and then decides to take him home when he's around 10 years old or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So basically, he's a young kid who's grown up through the system. So basically, she's kind of make it work out for him because she's tracked him down and she's found out that pretty much he's bouncing around the system, and if he just stays there, he's going to end up becoming another statistic. So
one of the main things about the movie is that Adonis Creed himself, he grows up. They fast forward past his juvenile hall days, and he doesn't want to live in the shadow of his father, his biological father, being Apollo. Yes, he's a naturally talented boxer. We've seen him go through a couple of matches in like Tijuana, where
Yeah.
he has this
15-0.
yeah 15-0 when he's doing these background boxing matches in Tijuana, and he had a business job, and he was getting promoted, and he quit it, and he wanted to actually go into boxing.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting how they did that. What was funny was that basically throughout the very first half of the movie, he's running around trying to prove himself as a boxer, but he doesn't want himself attached in any way to the name Creed.
Yeah, he wanted to be trained. He knew a couple of trainers, and they wouldn't train him. They wouldn't take him on.
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to deter him from becoming a boxer because of what happened to his biological father, Apollo.
Yeah.
Even his mom didn't want it. The trainers didn't want it. They wouldn't train him. They wouldn't partake in that.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that it was right for him though to hide who he is. Once he started getting closer to,
Well, he didn't want to piggyback off of his father's name.
I understand that. I do, but also he's got to realize that he is Creed.
Yeah.
Well,
The same blood that was running through Apollo's veins is going through his.
Well, generally, in that he actually irons that out.
Yeah,
later
eventually,
on.
after
Eventually.
being called Little Apollo
Well,
or Little Creed.
Well,
Baby Creed.
Rocky actually helped with that too.
Yeah.
Because there was a pretty this movie had a lot of pretty cool scenes, but there was a scene that Adonis tracks down Rocky Balboa, and then they have a conversation, and Adonis knew things about Apollo and Rocky that nobody should know. For example, no, I'm not going to spoil this, but remember the underground fight that Rocky and Apollo had at the end of Rocky 3?
Behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, at the end of that movie, the winner is finally revealed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go see the movie. Please go see the movie. It's a good movie all around, but I'm not going to spoil that. We're not going to spoil that for you. That's something that you just got to find out for yourself.
Yep. I mean,
Well, my main concern too was how much of the love interest is going to be involved. You know, like all boxers go through, professional and movie type, about like when the women get in their heads, they're not right, they're not prepared for that battle, because that's what it is when you get in a ring. It's a battle.
Well,
And your mind has to be set on that battle and not worry about the personal stuff in the background. I was really concerned about that as the movie went on, but it cleaned itself up.
But
pretty
remember, that's
nicely.
what happened to Rocky too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, they had that.
Yeah,
Rocky
yeah,
and
yeah,
Adrian had that when
yeah.
Rocky was trying to get away from boxing and try to live a normal
You know,
life. And
But I was concerned about the love interest. I was like, oh man, please don't do this. And then it turned out.
well, you know, the funny thing about that is that I've been looking at reviews online, and one of the things is a lot of the online reviews are mentioned back and forth. They're like, so basically, Adonis meets this chick. He finds out that she's a musician, and yeah, they end up in a relationship. The one thing that a lot of people have been bringing up is like, so why do they have to make her with a degenerative hearing disability? You know, why is she going deaf? The thing about it, the one thing about a lot of the supporting characters for all the Rocky movies is that they all serve as a push. All right. What happens, and this is another spoiler, right?
it's full of spoilers,
Yeah.
this review.
This is another spoiler. It's not too big because you figure that, well, he's going to get there eventually. Well, Adonis finally decides to go ahead and go out and bill himself as the son of Apollo Creed, all right, and to go ahead and dedicate himself, you know, fully into boxing and with no reservations or anything. You know, people are going to know his background anyways. I mean, they have that whole thing, the whole, what's that, pardon the interruption.
PTI.
Clip where they were talking about, you know, I don't care if he's Apollo's son. I don't.
He still has to prove himself in the ring.
He just has to fight like Apollo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing about the chick is that they're sitting there at a point where, after a little bit of drama that goes back and forth, basically, you know, he asks her, he's like, well, why do you do what you do, right? He's like, knowing that you're going to go deaf. Mm-hmm. Why do you do what you do? And she lays it in front of him and she says, well, since this is what I love, I'm going to do it as much as I can
until it's gone.
until it's gone. All right. Which, if you think about it, pretty much parallels his situation exactly. All right. As a fighter and as a cat, um, um, as a fighter, he's going to go ahead and he has to go ahead and do what he does without any reservations. Otherwise, what happens is that he's going to get knocked out. You know,
Well,
and because of that, you know, he kind of comes to the realization. It's like, hey, look, the only person who's stopping him from going to the ring, being exactly who he is himself.
well,
Rocky told him that too.
Yeah, and the thing about his girlfriend Bianca is that she's got no choice. It's just going to end.
but the thing is, though, I mean, every Rocky movie we've watched, all of them, there's always been a character that has a problem.
Well, that's
And,
a
you know,
flawed character is a good character.
And that's what I'm saying. I didn't want a character that is completely 100%, perfect. And that was great. And I felt that to those people that say, why does she have to have a degenerate disease?
Yeah.
I say just hush. Enjoy the movie. It doesn't take away from what the character is. It actually embodies the character and empowers the character and make you, because everybody has their faults.
That's one thing that I pointed to earlier. You get emotionally involved with each and every character in this movie, with each and every main character, because you can understand what each and every person is going through.
Yeah.
Either it's explained to you or it's showed to you, and you'll be like, yeah, I can understand if I put myself in that person's shoes, what they're thinking or what's going on.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, like you said at the beginning, it's an underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah.
It's and the thing is, if you're dealing with an underdog, you're dealing with somebody who's got challenges. All right, it's one of the reasons why a lot of people, on a side tangent, I don't want to go ahead and end up talking for other things for 20 minutes. It's kind of the reason why a lot of people, they like Batman more than they do Superman, because the thing is that what do you have to worry about with Superman?
Yeah, pretty much.
Lois Lane.
The Rock, Green
yeah,
Rock.
yeah.
Green Rock.
Yeah, but besides that, he's pretty much a god walking
And
amongst
I
men.
have to agree with Maurice, that a flawed character, the theme,
Yes.
we have to cut that.
Yeah.
All right, I have to agree with the theme here with a good character is a flawed character.
Yeah.
But one thing that I kind of was disappointed in, spoilers, is that the lead up to the fight, it just seemed like it was tacked on. I mean, good story at the beginning, and I felt that there was not enough about the opponent, because in the previous Rockies, we kind of knew about Apollo was and what he was trying to do.
Actually, in Rocky 1, it was almost the same situation when you look at it.
It could be
Because they picked an underdog in an actual fight.
Correct.
And the only reason why they picked Adonis is because everyone found out that he was the son of Apollo Creed, and that was a big name. You attach Creed, because, spoilers again, Adonis Johnson is his name, and building up to the last fight, they wanted him to drop the name Johnson and attach Creed for the fight.
Yeah, pretty much all they're doing is they're commanding pay-per-view guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, and the fact that it was an overseas boxer was another issue with me.
Well,
too.
he was the world champion.
I understand that, and then he got in trouble.
Yeah,
he got in trouble at the beginning, and he was trying to pull his name
out of
the mud.
But the thing about it is, it could have been his last fight because he was in trouble with the law.
Correct, it could have been.
And
but
his opponent.
I just feel that it should have led up. There should have been a little more lead up to the fight.
They did what they had to do in order to get the fight done.
I think in that regards, where it really kind of fell outside of the normal Rocky formula, and the pacing of the movie suffered just a little bit. And I'd have to say the 15 minutes leading up to the fight was the fact that in most of the other Rocky movies, except for Rocky 3, basically Rocky, the main character, he's only got one big fight that he has to worry about, and then you go through this huge training montage, which is awesome. In this particular movie, he literally has 4 matches around. All right, and because of that, it really cuts down on the amount of time. where that becomes an issue, though, I have to say the one thing that it does, the movie does technically that completely blew me out of the water was the first major fight that he had when he first comes in as Adonis Johnson, all right, against the regional, the gym champion, right, Leo. They go ahead and in order for him to prove that he's legit in the ring, he gets challenged by the trainer who's overseeing Mickey's gym now, right, and his son.
Yeah.
So they go ahead, they do a mini montage. This is when Rocky actually decides that he's going to go ahead and train him. He does a mini montage, jumps into the ring. They go ahead and they start the fight, and it's fucking magical. All right, the way that they did the whole fight, and they made it look like all one solid cut.
I mean, it was like you said, it was a legit fight. I mean, for one, the guy who's running Mick's gym, you know, when Rocky comes into that gym the first time, you know, he knew something was up already. That what really brought Rocky back?
Yeah.
Something had to bring Rocky back, and he started poking around into Johnson's.
Well, that was not the only issue. The new owner of Mick's gym wanted Rocky to train his son.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
When that didn't happen, he started poking around and he saw Adonis there, and he was like, "Okay, why is this kid?
Why is this guy special than my son? My son is the leading boxer at this gym.
He's a world ranker, and he's got like 17 fights, no losses.
And
you know, it was great because, you know, for the loss that they had to lead up to the fight, you know, they really packed in a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the movie was around 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Something like that. Yeah.
Pretty long. It's pretty long. Given
you won't feel it.
Yeah.
You will not feel it. It's a good. People, 2 hours? That's too long. No. It will. It's a really standard good movie that you'll sit there and you'll be like, yeah, this is a good movie.
But given that it was 2 hours and 15 minutes, it moved at a phenomenal
clip.
Oh,
yes. The pacing was excellent.
Yeah. You know, so, yeah, there are some really slick things that they do with the camera work. With
the fights.
Yeah, with the fights.
And going into the ring with the fights.
That's what
the way that they had the sound staging for the last fight.
Oh Lord!
Because pretty much there's this moment here where they're pretty much following the fighters going through the corridor on their long walk to the ring, and they're in the dark, and all you hear is sound.
Yeah.
And the closer that they get to the ring, it just gets louder and louder. Yeah, and by the time you get into the ring and the lights come back on, it is fucking loud as shit. Like you're in the middle
they
of
put you in the perspective of the boxers themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what made that great.
What really blew my mind, like you were saying, was that the camera was positioned right behind the fighter's left shoulder, and it actually, like you were looking over his shoulder, going up those stairs to get to the arena.
It took the perspective of the fighters. And
absolutely. That was a great perspective. It kind of brought you out of the audience and into the movie itself, and you felt like you were one of the trainers having their hand on the shoulder on your fighter going to the ring.
Speaking of the fights, there were a lot of cool things that happened with pretty much each and every fight that went on. Yeah. Some things were really unique, and certain things that if you watch and you catch it and you're like, wow, that was really, really cool.
The camera work in the ring when they were, during the match was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was really great.
Yeah. And like he said earlier, it felt like there was no cutting.
No, it felt like it was just
one shot.
A camera being passed around.
Yeah, it was one fluid shot of the fight.
Although the last fight does play out more like a
normal Rocky fight.
Yeah. But it incorporates
that's to be expected,
though. It does play out. It does play out with the slicker camera work. Mm-hmm. I think the guys the production team and the cinematographers who did it were big fans of The Raid. If I do say so myself.
That's another movie that you guys. Other two movies that you guys need to catch: The Raid and The Raid 2.
Yeah. Yes, but that's
That's another
movie.
story.
Yeah.
But did the thing is though, since he fought in TJ for a long time, I mean he was 16 and
15 no.
15 and 0.
Yeah.
I mean that was his professional record, and he said that at that final fight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's been boxing for a long time. So I mean, we knew that he was a professional boxer, but up into the owner of the
Well, he
mixed
was
gym.
never in the world rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he, like I said,
But
he didn't want to piggyback off his father's name. He wanted to make it.
but
on
he
his own.
did. I mean, when he beat the world ranker,
Mhm.
Mick, the Mickey,
Leo.
Leo,
Yeah.
that did put him as a legitimate
Yeah,
fighter.
but it elevated him more or less, depending on how you put it.
But it
When they
wasn't.
found out he was son of.
It
Apollo
wasn't a
Creed.
title fight though.
No.
It was just a. Yeah.
No, it was just.
So
a normal
hopefully, when there is a next
ranking.
movie, that they will be able to have him up for more, more of a title fight or something.
Well,
but I'm not trying to demean anything that he did.
Well, let's look at that for a second. Like we said before, the champion, it was most likely his last match.
Yeah.
And he may be forfeiting the title.
I don't think he's going to vacate that.
Yeah.
But
well, it's one of those things where what happened was that if I remember correctly, the last fight, the actual fight itself, was an actual title fight.
It was.
It was an actual fight.
It was a championship match.
At the end, well, okay. I'll leave that alone. We've spoiled enough already. But they do announce it as a championship match. What'll probably happen next, if following the Rocky blueprint, is that they'll go ahead, they'll jump in like maybe a few years later, he'll have his record expanded out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're gonna have him do anything so egregious as fighting Russian boxers or anything like that, but yeah, I think in the end, if we're following the example that Creed set up for any further movies, is actually a great launch off point. And to its credit, like every spin-off, all right, has to be weighed whether or not it will actually carry itself well enough on its own. Yeah, without always being attached to the original series.
Right.
All right. Now, since Rocky Balboa is going to be involved as a trainer there, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be in the picture some way or another. But for
do you think Rocky will still be his number one?
You know what was great about that when it came to that, and for anybody who's a fight fan and who actually pays attention to the fight game itself, I think he's going to be there, but he's going to have help from other people.
Yeah.
The one thing that really kind of elevated this movie above other Rocky movies for me was the attention to detail that they actually took to training and actually cornering Adonis Creed.
Cornering was great.
Yeah, because when he went ahead and he brings, spoiler, okay, Rocky brings Adonis to the Front Street Gym, a different Philadelphia gym, where he knows a whole bunch of world-class trainers, and he goes, okay, you're going to be working with this guy here, he's going to work your mitts. This guy here, he knows gloves. He's going to give you your equipment. This is Stitch. He's the best cut man in business.
Hopefully you never have to use him.
Yeah. And Adonis sits there and goes, well, no, I don't know why you're doing this. He's like, look. He's like, they do things I can't do.
Yeah.
So he's like, they're going to go ahead and give you the tools that they have ready for you. He's like, don't worry. I'm watching you the whole time.
I'm
going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Which was great because it was like, Rocky's a great fighter, but great fighters don't always make the best coaches.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Generally speaking, they make horrible coaches usually. All right. And then when it came down to the actual fights themselves, I love the Rocky movies if it's not obvious by now. But the actual corner advice that they give in the Rocky movies, like in the first few, with the exception of Rocky Balboa, all right, the actual advice that they give in the corners, fucking horrible. Motherfucking horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so goddamn horrible. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I love
Hit the one in the middle.
I love Burgess Meredith.
Haha,
God rest his soul, right? And he's a classic actor, all right. But give it all your heart, all your soul, and everything else. Get up, you bum. I'm sorry, that doesn't help a fighter when you've only got a minute to go ahead and prep them for the round. All right. It doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. And it's also the reason why if you sit there, you go over to if you go over to I don't know, Buffalo Wild Wings, and they've got a pay-per-view on, right? You've got XYZ Jamoke sitting around thinking that they could act as a corner. Oh, that's easy shit. I can just tell them to put everything into every fucking punch. That does nothing if the guy's getting hit in the face.
Exactly.
But the moment he sat there, he's like, hey, look, keep that left arm low outside the radar. Once you dip left, hit him with a shovel hook, and then crack him with the right. It'll put him on his ass. How do you know?
It worked.
Dad did that.
Yeah, it worked on me.
Yeah, it was fucking great. I mean, when I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
that's real shit.
Yeah, exactly. There was actual advice given that actually pertained to the fights. Not just hit the one in the middle. Hit the one in the middle.
What the funny thing was is that there's some comedy in there too.
Those are dozens.
Especially during the training up to the fight, the chicken. It just had me dying. I was like,
anyway,
because he rejected it just like Rocky rejected it. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. I mean, it's great stuff. I for a new series or a new spin-off on an established series is just really, really good. To be completely honest, I first heard about the movie around this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't even think I wanted to see the movie initially. To be completely honest, but after seeing the details and finding out what was going on with it, I'm actually really happy I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have no regrets. This is definitely, in fact, it's going into my collection, my video collection. It's just one of those movies that you have to have.
You have to own. Once
you have to own the movie.
Yes, this is one we will actually own a physical copy and not just get off of the Pirate Bay. So, final thoughts, fellas?
What's your score on the movie?
Well, what are we going by here? Are we going numbers, stars, boners?
I'm not going to say 10 Ron Jeremy's out of 10. I'm not doing that. Stars or numbers?
Out of 10?
Okay.
Okay, we'll do out of 10. I'd say it's a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
9 out of 10 for me.
I'll go as far as saying a 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, 9. Yeah, it is there's a lot of surprises in there and the fact that the reason for my score is that it put questions, it answered questions that needed to be answered.
Yeah.
And
it did.
It needed.
I agree with that.
They needed those questions to be answered, in certain parts of the movie.
Yeah.
And it was. And if you're a Rocky fan,
some of those answered questions are heartfelt.
Yes. Very much.
And you're like, wow, they included that.
Because if you would have to watch all the Rocky movies and then you will see this and then and the questions that were answered, you'd be like, wow.
So with that, the wow factor put it up to 9.5 for me.
Understood.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you're on the fence and you're trying to figure out something to watch, I would say definitely go watch Creed if you haven't done it already.
This movie is worth going to see in the movie theater itself.
Yes, indeed. Yes, a lot of the things that they do, especially the lead up to the fights, just walking out to the ring. I mean, I've got a nice TV and a surround sound system. I don't think I would.
It wouldn't do it justice.
No, it wouldn't do that justice. The theater is the best way to do this.
Absolutely. Please see it on the silver screen.
Yes. All right. Definitely. And with that, I think that's that.
Yes, that is that.
So this is Graymouse 1 signing off.
This is the theme here, signing off.
This is the Reverend saying I'm out. Have a good night.
Credits.